Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, it's Jesse with the Common Nerd, bringing you pop culture and all things nerdy through a common sense lens. And well, it's official. Avengers Endgame is returning to theaters in September 2026. Just a few months before the next Avengers movie, Doomsday, comes out. And it's awful interesting timing, boys and girls, because it has long been speculated by fans, and the rumor mill has essentially confirmed this for a long time, that Avengers Doomsday, aka, and Avengers Secret Wars, which are essentially completely and totally the story of Secret Wars, just told through the modern Kevin Feige lens, after all. But literally one of them rehashes that we saw of the 2016 one or whatever it was. But either way, we kind of all speculated this was going to be an excuse for Kevin Feige to get rid of characters and storylines that weren't working inside of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. A lot of people hailed it as the death of the MCU. And then we saw with the announcement of all of the cast members that we saw listed at the little Italian thing last week, a lot of people were like, that's an awful male-dominated cast out there in the Doomsday. Weird. Is the MCU dead? Well, now that we know Avengers Endgame is indeed returning to theaters right before Doomsday premieres, it's got a lot of fan speculation, and the rumor mill is absolutely flying, boys and girls, because this sure seems like more confirmation that the MCU is dead, and Kevin Feige is trying to erase and cover up all of his past mistakes. Because Avengers Endgame is returning to theaters in September 2026. Even the Russo brothers, boys and girls, share a trailer for the re-release of Avengers Endgame on their Instagram, which of course we're going to check out. And then of course, now the rumor mill about what all of this is going to mean for the future of the MCU. Because it's rumored that it is going to erase the MCU and directly continue Endgame. Yes, essentially completely and totally ignoring everything that's happened in the disastrous dumpster fire era since Endgame. And honestly, boys and girls, it's just like I said out there on Twitter, this just might work. Because based on the box office returns alone, most Marvel fans didn't even see the majority of Phase 4, boys and girls, MCU or not. And do we even need to talk about the disastrous dumpster fire that the ratings have been for all of the Disney Plus shows post-Endgame? Methinks not. So we're going to check out these articles. We're getting all the juicy details of when you will get to see Avengers Endgame back in theaters, and of course what this means for the overall Marvel Cinematic Universe. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share it with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already, boys and girls, because we are grinding, we are growing. We just crossed 2,400. We're inching our way closer and closer to 25. I think we're sitting at like 2,476 or 2,471, and I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, leave us a comment in the section down below. Let me know what you think about all of this. Does it surprise you at all that Kevin Feige is trying to erase all of his past mistakes and completely and totally act like none of it happened? Are you one of those activists out there that are going to absolutely rail and yell and scream at him on social media because the MCU is over? Or do you think this will actually end up working out? Do you think this is way too late? Do you think you will actually forgive and forget and try to move on as a Marvel fan? Or is this just too little? Let us know what you think about all that in the comment section down below. And of course, if you'd like to support the channel, please check out the links in the description down below and join the Nerd Herd, boys and girls. December, we are on a membership drive trying to get to that 100 members we need to keep the lights on around here indefinitely. The last couple of months have been super tight, and if we don't hit those 100 members, Common Nerd is going to close things down around here, boys and girls. I live stream 6 days a week. I bring you videos 7 days a week. We do all kinds of fun stuff in the evening with streams. Please, if you enjoy any of that, if you want to see Common Nerd keep doing that, become a member of the Nerd Herd, boys and girls. It's $5 or less a month. You know what platform you're on. If we hit those 100 members and maintain that, we can keep going forward indefinitely. So please consider that down below. All right, from Matt McGloin over at CosmicBook.News, and we'll just start off with Will Harrigan over here real quick before we jump into all of the fun, juicy rumor mill stuff, boys and girls. All right, Marvel is bringing Avengers Endgame back to theaters, giving fans another chance to see the Avengers' final fight against Thanos on the big screen ahead of Avengers Doomsday. The Avengers Endgame release begins September 25th, 2026. I'm sure that thing is going to crush it at the box office, boys and girls. And I do apologize if my throat still sounds a little off in the videos as of recently. I'm still fighting off a bit of a chest congestion. But seriously, this thing is going to crush it at the box office. And there better not be anything else scheduled that weekend that even has even hopes to make a profit, because you are going to be overshadowed by this thing in spades, as Disney's sequels have proven out over and over and over again. If it's something the fans know and love, they will show back up for it. And Endgame was definitely one of those. Not as good as the first one, but not as good as Infinity War, but still absolutely a blast, boys and girls, which once again, it all makes sense that they're releasing this. We can talk about all the budgets, but that's not what we're really here for. That's what we're really here for. Right here, the Russo brothers on their own Instagram released this, right? We've got this one over here from Marvel Studios official account here. Let's check out the little quick one real quick before we check out the Russo brothers little extended one.
On your left. Avengers! Assemble. On your left.
And I mean, come on, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, the one phrase that we've been waiting to hear out of Cap's mouth since he had hit the big screen out there in the first Avengers movie, Avengers Assemble. We finally got it. The audience has cheered. I know the audience cheered and clapped because I was in the theater when that moment happened, and it was glorious and it was fabulous. Not this specific theater, but one of those ones out there. And yes, it was fabulous. It was wonderful. And despite some of the issues with Endgame, boys and girls, I think we can all honestly say as a Marvel fan, that was the last time something that was almost universally loved came from the Marvel Cinematic Universe in such a wonderful way. But more credence to it. It's not just Marvel going, hey, we're going to release this in a cash grab. No, the Russo brothers themselves are putting this over there on their own one with the actual clip here from in the theater. You're going to want to turn up your volume. Let's turn it up, boys and girls. You remember this feeling.
On your left.
There they came. You love this feeling. So do we. And that's what leads us to all of this. Because everything we've shown you over the past few minutes all adds more credence to this right here. Avengers Doomsday, rumored to erase MCU and directly continue Endgame. And that lines up exactly with right here from Fandom Pulse, Avengers Endgame re-released edition is reported to have a post-credit scene that directly leads to Avengers Doomsday. Ahead of the trailer release later this month, a new rumor says Avengers Doomsday is being treated as a direct sequel to Endgame. Yeah, all that crazy insanity that happened in the Eternals, that doesn't matter. WandaVision, that doesn't matter. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, that doesn't matter. Miss Marvel, MCU, none of that matters. If this is accurate, Marvel may be preparing to rewrite its own timeline and remove the post-Endgame era, which has previously been rumored. That would include the Disney Plus shows and the recent films that all failed to connect and flopped. And I guarantee you, Daredevil Born Again will survive that. We already know we're getting season 2, and they're low level enough that what happens in the overall big cinematic universe doesn't change what happens on the ground. Do you think you can say that for Kamala Khan? How about Echo, Agatha? Agatha all along, anyone? The rumor also lands following the announcement that Marvel's re-releasing things. The latest rumor comes from Daniel RPK, where it's claimed that Avengers Doomsday will be a direct sequel to Avengers Endgame. How exactly it all unfolds remains to be seen, but one prevailing theory is that it has to do with Steve Rogers. Boy, I wonder if they intentionally left them this plot hole or not as part of that. Because it reminds me of something else that happened recently in another series. Oh, that's right, Doctor Who with the bi-regeneration, because RTD knew he was getting ready to do something insane. So what's going to happen? Now that all of that failed, they're going to go back to David Tennant. I wonder if Kevin Feige knew what he was doing beforehand and knew what a risk it was. That's probably giving him way too much credit for intentions. But hey, you know what? Happy accidents. The new rumor aligns with the earlier rumor that Avengers Doomsday will release all events after Endgame. And that's where a lot of this is insane, because this is just nuts. I mean, this is crazy. This is from Doomcock. According to multiple sources, and sources not ours, the new plan for Doomsday is the movie will pick up after Endgame, making all movies and shows after Endgame non-canon. It will pick up on the real Captain America and his desire to live a life with Peggy, writing a completely new future. We are still working to get more details about this one, so more is coming. Now, Doomcat doesn't have the greatest track record out there in the world, after all, but this is what he's saying. This is lining up with Daniel RPK is saying. This is what we've all been hearing from the beginning, right? What else would you do with Secret Wars? That's what you did with Secret Wars both times in the comics. You erased characters and storylines that weren't selling. Now they're doing the exact same thing all over again. Set images show a 1960s style house believed to be tied to Steve Rogers. These are leaks. This is all stuff that they're showing right here. A nice farmhouse. Now you could maybe argue that it's Hawkeye, right? We saw Hawkeye living out in the farm with his family and stuff like that. Maybe. We don't know if Jeremy Reiner's coming back right now. Hasn't been officially announced. We don't know. But we do know that Steve Rogers, aka Captain America, is coming back. The rumor also matches a claim from My Time to Shine Hello on X that Steve's decision to return to Peggy causes the incursions that kill Dr. Doom's family, pushing Doom to hunt Steve, right? Because he thought he was going to be able to go away with it. He thought he was going to be able to go back in time. Where was the Time Variance Authority when Steve did this? Why weren't they trying to come clean up his timeline? Well, looks like we might get an answer to that now, won't we? And it all makes sure that Kevin Feige's past arguably decade of massive mistakes will all be erased. Everything forward of Endgame will be as like it never happened. Why? Because you gotta get Steve Rogers to fix his time variation after all. If Marvel falls through on this direction, the company would effectively undo years of unpopular titles and reposition Chris Evans as the center of the MCU. Recent photos show Evans training again, which has fueled expectations that he is returning. We know he's coming back, beyond a shadow of a doubt, right? The real question is, who was he going to come back as? Was it going to be Johnny Storm, like what we saw in Deadpool and Wolverine and in the old good Fantastic Four Fox movies? Or was it going to be his Captain America? Let's be honest. They're bringing the Russo brothers back and Robert Downey Jr. We know they're bringing actual Captain America back, boys and girls. Come on now. A reset also fits what we know about the MCU after Secret Wars. The franchise has been heading towards a soft reboot, and Marvel has already said the Disney Plus shows will no longer connect to the movies. Bye-bye. Yeah, because that didn't work out very well. That's literally was their excuse for like Thunderbolts flopping, right? These were characters from either television shows that nobody watched or the Black Widow movie, which also nobody watched, right? That was their excuse. Notice how they didn't have an excuse when Fantastic Four flopped. No, couldn't use MCU as an excuse, right? Because even the critics in our corner of the internet that are normally anti all of that stuff said the Fantastic Four movie was good. They liked it better than the Superman movie. And guess what? James Gunn's Superman movie did a whole lot better at the box office than Fantastic Four. That just shows you how sick and tired Marvel fans are of all of Kevin Feige's BS. It's just like Disney's sequels. It's the exact same thing at the House of Mouse on both sides, right? Disney original ideas, flop. Their sequels, those are billion-dollar box offices, right? Same thing here. Every original idea Kevin Feige has tried to put out there since post-Endgame has flopped and failed miserably. Give me an example. Wakanda Forever didn't flop at the box office. That's the sequel. Deadpool and Wolverine made $1 billion. Deadpool and Wolverine, established Fox characters with actors that the fans love globally. There is not a single example you can give me of an original story being a success post-Endgame in Kevin Feige's Marvel. Not a single one. Why? He chased the modern audience. How did that work out for him? This announcement has confirmed the cast includes everybody else and their mother. So this is what they're doing. Every single sign points in this direction. The Russo brothers are out here promoting the movie on their social media, talking about how amazing it was. You guys remember that feeling? You guys remember when you actually enjoyed going to see a Marvel movie in the theaters? You actually remember when you were excited to go see one, that you weren't dreading it because the only reason you decided to watch it is because you're either a Marvel simp or you have to review this stuff for a living? You remember those days, right? You remember when you used to not wait for something to come on streaming because you didn't want to pay the $100 that it was for, you just end up being massively disappointed at the box office? Yeah, that's what they're trying to bring back. That's what Kevin Feige wants to return. That's why they're putting this back in theaters. So you'll remember that. So you'll be there for it. And so that way, Avengers Doomsday doesn't flop at the box office like Fantastic Four did. They're resetting everything. Kevin Feige is going to erase all of his past mistakes. All of Phase 4. All of the MCU. All of these failed, miserable characters that nobody liked and nobody wanted. The same characters that failed in the comic books and caused the last Secret Wars have now done the exact same thing all over again. It's almost like history doesn't just repeat itself, it also rhymes. It doesn't matter. It's almost like it doesn't matter how prideful and arrogant Kevin Feige and the rest of his ilk over there at Marvel think they are. They thought they could make it work this time. They thought all of these activist Marvel Now Initiative characters that they decided to drag up and the established characters that they had to transform into Marvel initiatives was going to work. They thought all of this garbage, modern sensibilities, woke LGBTQ, alphabet soup mafia, race swapping and gender swapping characters was going to work. Why? Because they were smarter than the fans. They were smarter than all the comic book creators that came before them. They were smarter than the Marvel comic book guys. They could make it work. They could make sure you loved it. And what happened? It blew up in their faces, caused them billions of dollars in losses. And now, just like Marvel Comics had to do, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is using Secret Wars to erase and get rid of all of their disastrous dumpster fire mistakes. And Kevin Feige better be praying to the one true God in heaven and asking forgiveness from his Savior Jesus Christ. Because otherwise, this could all blow up in his face. But on the flip side, to be completely and totally fair and give this thing its best possible chance, this might actually work if they erase and ignore everything that's happened before. Because guess what? The majority of fans haven't seen a lot of the MCU and most of Phase 4 at all. So they don't remember it either. And that's exactly the way Kevin Feige wants it. Because his own mistakes and his own lack of fan interest might actually pull this off and make Avengers Doomsday a massive success at the box office. The real question is, what do you do after that, Kevin Feige? I guess Chris Evans and Hugh Jackman will be playing their roles until they're 90. Because the only thing Disney knows how to make a success anymore is sequel after sequel. And guess what? Reboots and refreshes are coming to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and all of your fan favorite characters will be right back in the roles they belonged in from the beginning. Why? Because go woke, go broke got proven true once again, and all of the activists are going to cry and whine. But boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, rest in peace to the MCU. We loved you, we hated you, and even Kevin Feige won't miss you. If you've made it this far, thanks for watching, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't already, make sure you smash that like and subscribe or follow button depending on what platform you're on. And of course, a big shout out to all of our subscribers and members. You are the grease between our gears, keeping this machine running. And I could not do this without every single one of you.